Hello dear listeners, welcome back to another episode of the Peculiarstars Lifestyle Network. I remain your host, Emmanuel, and today we dive into the age-old question, does money really buy happiness? I want you to share with us in the comments, can money buy happiness? And if yes is your answer, tell us if there was no money in the world, would everyone be unhappy? We are anticipating your comments. So first thing first, let's consider these three situations. And the first situation is that, let's say you buy a new possession for yourself. Let's say you buy a phone, maybe a car or a house. Definitely you are going to be happy. So we can say money bought you happiness. And in the second situation, let's say you spent your money in traveling and visiting new places. Maybe you travel to Dubai for vacation. You are going to be happy. So indeed, money bought you happiness. Then in the last situation, let's say you bought a gift for your wife, or you donated items to charity, or you saw poor kids on the road and you bought something for them. The result also will be that you saw the other person happy and you are happy as well. So money bought you happiness by seeing the other person happy. So in all these situations, money bought you happiness. Now let's consider the durability of this happiness. In the first situation, you bought a new possession, but then this happiness would likely fade with time because human wants increases and changes with time. And in the second situation, you are happy because you traveled, you had a new experience. So it's more likely that your happiness would last longer as money has bought you new experiences, which is stored in your memory and would always stay fresh rather than a materialistic possession. And in the last situation, you are happy because you spent your money on someone else. This kind of happiness out of action or behavior that benefits others lasts longer, and you tend to stay happy longer than compared to a person who is self-centered. So what am I saying? Yes, money would buy you happiness, while the longevity would depend on how you spend it. Have you ever considered how the way you spend money influences the longevity of happiness it brings? I want you to share with us in the comments on whether material possessions, experiences, or acts of kindness contribute to lasting happiness. I asked a friend of mine this question, does money really buy happiness? And I love his response so much. He said, money may not buy happiness, but money will make sadness easier. It makes sense to me because I'd rather cry in a Rolls Royce than on a bike. You see, it's a fact that there are some happiness that we need that isn't material things. For example, someone that is seriously sick. In some cases, you have all the money, but the money will not be able to help you. Look at the case of the governor that just died in Nigeria recently. So most times, if you ask rich people if money really buy happiness, their answer will be no. Although happiness is subjective, what makes Mr. A happy might not make Mr. B happy. You see, there are some circumstances and situations where all the money you have might be useless. For example, like I said earlier, health issues. And also imagine the case when your child decides to choose another sexuality that you are not cool with, and so on. Now, according to what my friend said, that money makes unhappiness or sadness easier. Now imagine a rich person that is seriously sick and they have spent a lot of money, received treatment from the best hospitals in the world, but eventually they lost the person. Now it's easier to accept that the illness is beyond manpower and there's nothing they can do about it. Unlike the case of a poor man that can't even afford to pay for a local hospital. You are unhappy about the sickness, at the same time you're unhappy about the poverty. The pressure to get the money to pay your bills alone is enough to make you very sad, and it's enough to make your unhappiness multiply. So what's your thoughts on this? Do you think having money makes dealing with illness easier, or does it bring its own set of challenges? Some people are of the opinion that poor people are happier than rich people. What's your thoughts on this? Personally, I believe that if poor people are happier than the rich people, then it's not poverty that makes them happy. How can you feel peaceful and happy when you are worried about the consequences of not having enough money? Because those consequences are very harsh. Can you feel happy when you are watching your car get towed away for non-payment? Can you feel happy when you are looking at a notice to leave your house because you can't afford to pay rent? There is no joy in having creditors call you day and night. There is certainly nothing enjoyable about saying I can't afford that, we don't have enough money every time. When you don't have enough money, you are always settling for something less. Money buys choices, and when you run out of money, you run out of choices as well. Once you have money, everything changes. There are no phone calls from creditors. Everything not only gets paid on time, but the money to make the payment is already in your bank well before the bill is due. So if you own your own home, for example, no one else can decide where you live. If you have a lot of money, you can make even more choices. The choices are in your hands. Most things that can give you pleasure, joy, or happiness can be bought with money. When you earn and spend money in the right way, it becomes the greatest source of all your happiness and joy. You see, money can buy you happiness when you gift someone something. When you are able to use your money to give someone something they really need, you are able to meet their need at the particular time. Sometimes money serves as a purpose. It gives you a goal to achieve, and you work towards it. And even that drive to do something, to keep yourself busy and actually accomplish it, can make you happy and satisfied. Money can buy you happiness. For example, some people have low self-esteem because of the way they look or the way they seem to the world. With money you can change that. With money you can get a haircut, fix your teeth, get a good skincare product, and do whatever it takes to make yourself more presentable, which leads to you feeling better about yourself, and it makes you happy. I want you to please share with us in the comments, what are your thoughts on the idea that money can buy happiness, considering aspects like achieving goals and enhancing self-esteem. Let me talk about another example. Money can buy things makes you happy, so therefore money buys happiness. But personally, I believe that there are certain conditions in which this theory works and which it doesn't. That's why my answer to the question, does money really buy happiness, will always be yes and no. Please feel free to share your own perspectives too in the comments. Money can buy happiness when you earn it yourself. It is important to realize that when you make your own money and you buy those things you've been longing for, you will be very excited. But at the same time, happiness comes from within. That's why sometimes you see the world's richest people be the most miserable and people with nothing happy. Money becomes a source of unhappiness if you earn the money through illegal or immoral means, or spend your money on illegal or immoral activities. I want you to tell us, what are other reasons why you think money can become a source of unhappiness? Share with us in the comments. Finally, let me leave you with this. Money would buy you happiness, but not absolutely. You see, materialistic happiness would or can never last longer, and money might not determine your level of happiness. So thank you so much for joining us on this episode. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. Bye for now.